How's it going, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a video where we go out and reverse every single Columbus Blue Jackets trade over the last two seasons, starting back in the off season of the 2017-2018 season, ending with where we are right now in the 2018-2019 season. We take a look at that Blue Jackets team right now. It's pretty solid. Duchene, Atkinson, Foligno, Dubois, Dzingel, Panarin, Wenberg. Now, if you look at the lines, they're obviously not correct, but that's just what EA has the lines as. It does not matter because a lot of these guys are going to be moving. McQuaid, Savard, Nudavara, Murray, and then Werenski, Seth Jones over there on offense. We take a look at the goaltenders. It is Kincaid and Sergei Bobrovsky in this game. I'll just let you see Kincaid for now. It's not like he actually gets to play. He doesn't get to really play in real life anyway, but we do know he was part of a trade, so we do have to ship him away. Real quick though, we have been streaming on Twitch lately. If you guys are interested, I've been streaming daily on Twitch. The link's always down below in my description. If you guys want to come hang out a little bit, just playing a lot of HUT for the most part these days. But I will say one thing. The one thing we are going to do here is we will ignore a lot of the minor trades of the guys that don't actually have an effect on a roster. No offense to the guys, but the guys that don't actually play. We're not going to worry about those guys. And it appears we don't get to work with draft picks because I put us in season mode. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's just draft picks. We're just trying to see what it's going to do this season if we trade away all these players and put them back on their respective teams. What will happen? And I'm a little bit concerned here. We should be getting worked in most of these trades because we gave up trade draft picks for the most part. So we should be in good shape there. We'll see what we can make happen. But here we go. First off, we have to ship out Mr. McQuaid himself. We already brought him up. There goes a defenseman back to the New York Rangers. And they rejected it. That's funny because we gave them more than just Bergman. Okay, so you know what? We're going to have to do this in franchise mode. Alright, so we're going to retry this in franchise mode. I wanted to do the trades. I wanted to reverse all the trades, show the, what the Blue Jackets gave up for this guy and that guy. But it's probably going to be very difficult because EA's not really a big fan of fair trades. If they're not getting, like, I don't know, Ovechkin for either, their second line player, it's probably not fair in your eyes. But we'll try a third McQuaid for Bergman. And that trade is accepted. Alright, so we have Bergman back on the team. We will look, assistant coach can mess with that. We'll let him do it. Now, Keith Kincaid, he went to the Devils or went to the Blue Jackets for a 5th round pick. We're going to try to throw on one extra 5th round pick or one extra pick just because it'll make it easier for some of these other trades, I think. And he does hold a little bit more value. So we're going to throw on that 3rd round pick as well. We might actually be able to throw on a 4th round pick. We'll see what can happen here. Trade offer still looks pretty fair. Yes, okay. So we gained a couple extra draft picks. Keep in mind, it was only Keith Kincaid for a 5th when it comes to that trade offer with the New Jersey Devils. So I just realized that we traded this Bergman guy from Ottawa, right? And we went and said, you know what? We'll take Bergman, and then a month later, not even a month later, days later, we shipped him over to the Rangers. I didn't even pick up on that. And then we have the big trade, the Dzingel, the Duchene. We're throwing them in the same trade. We will review them real quick, though. Dzingel went to the Ottawa Senators for Duclair and 2 second-round draft picks. Matt Duchene went to the Senators for a first-round draft pick, Abramov, and then finally a conditional 1st round pick if Matt Duchene resigns with the Blue Jackets. And they also threw in Jonathan Davison, who is not really a high overall. That is why we just kind of said, yeah, leave him out of the trade. Not a big deal here when it comes to trade value. But Abramov, he had pretty solid Abramov. I'll say his name properly, Abramov. There is no N in there, but it feels like there should be an N in there. Abramov looks like a pretty solid pickup for the Senators. We'll see what happens there, but it looks like the Blue Jackets are going to get them back. Actually, they're not going to get him back because the Senators will be over the trade thing. We'll leave Bergman out. Just for a good time. He's not on an active roster, so it's kind of like I said, what we're worried about here is active roster players. And again, the Dzingel Duchene big effects here, as well as Duclair. We'll make that trade offer. We'll say, wow, you mean to tell me EA wouldn't do a 1st and 2 seconds for Duchene? Why does it look like they're giving up more? Oh, because that's what the Blue Jackets do. You know when EA even... Oh, they took it, though. They actually accepted that trade. But you know when EA thinks that you're getting too much in return? You really did give up too much the first time. So that is good to go. And then the other big one, Artemi Panarin for Brandon Saad and Anton Forsberg. Now, there was also Tyler Montaner, no longer a Blue Jacket. And then there was the 5th round and the 6th round picks. Also picks that were already drafted. You can't really go much farther than that. But again, the trade, you look back and you say, you know what? Columbus must have did a good job because the bar is about twice the size as the Blackhawks one. And as for that though, this is the last trade we are going to include. The reason being is that if you go ahead and, well, assistant coach best lines, but the reason being is most of these guys, I mean, there was a Vanek trade, there was, who else was there? There was another guy, was it Ian Cole trade? But both of those guys, their contracts were expiring at the end of last year. The Blue Jackets wouldn't have re-signed them anyway. So for that reason, we're going to leave them off of the trade here. I wanted to keep guys that were currently on the team, that would be on the team, and that is the guys that we have involved in these trades here today. But we'll go ahead and take a look at the lineups now. The new look Blue Jackets is definitely new look. Dubois, Atkinson, and Brandon Saad on the first line. Wenberg, Foligno, Duclair. Wow, does this look so much different? Hannah-Kynan, Yorkstrand, Riley Nash is our third line center. Oh my goodness. It's actually still probably somewhat accurate. And we go look at the defense, and we go, and we have Seth Jones, we have Werenski, we have Murray, Dudavara, Savard, and Kukan. A pretty solid looking D-corps. Didn't really change much. We did lose McQuaid, but again, McQuaid he's injured right now anyway. We haven't really had much of him anyway. And in our goaltenders, they go back to Jonas Korpisalo and Sergei Bobrovsky. So some big offensive threats being lost. Nonetheless, we'll see how that affects this season. We'll go ahead and sim up some of this season. I'll catch you guys back here when it is pretty well complete. So we're almost complete with this season. Clearly a big difference without our goal scorers out there right now. We're a 500 hockey team without Panarin, without Dzingel, without Duchene. A lot of big trades made for these Blue Jackets. You know, I've questioned them over the last couple years. Like, I don't know how I feel about giving up this draft pick and this draft pick. But right now, the Blue Jackets are in shape to give up a late first-round draft pick for Matt Duchene. And if he re-signs, obviously another draft pick. If he doesn't, not a big deal. But I mean, if Duchene re-signs, you consider that a pretty good draft pick, especially for, what would that be, the 2020 draft pick, pending the Blue Jackets don't tank and get a top 5 pick. Getting a guaranteed Matt Duchene's actually pretty solid. So you know what? I take a look back at these Blue Jacket trades, and they've done a really solid job, especially when you stop and you take a look and you see that Seth Jones leads the team in points when we are all out of our stud players. Cam Atkinson did not sim up well at all without these guys around him. 45 points, 48 out of Dubois, 44 out of Brandon Saad. It's going to be interesting to see how Cam Atkinson does next year. He's going to have Dubois still, but he's not going to have Panarin more than likely. Maybe Duchene comes around town. Maybe he helps him out instead. I mean, he has been playing a bit with Duchene as well, and it's been working. Duclair, though, 38 points. We obviously can't expect him to be around. 37 out of Foligno. Werenski is clear down here with 30 points. And as far as a minus 20 goes for David Savard, not the defensive specimen I'm expecting. He played with Kukan. Maybe that hurt him a little bit there. We'll look at the goalie stats. Again, though, they are obviously not accurate. We bring it up all the time. They are completely flawed. Unfortunately, I don't mean to bash on EA. I'm just kind of being honest with you guys. Make sure you understand that none of these are right. Like, they're 30 and 32 or 30-32, but the same percentage of goals against average, it doesn't actually match like the team's goals against average and stuff allowed during the season. It's just completely whitewashed and made up. And as far as the standings is concerned, we finished in 5th place, 81 points. Not a bad season. Still, 81's not terrible. Definitely could have done better and tanked for a good draft pick, but 81 points will work. The Flyers, Penguins, and Capitals were the best in the league. We'll take a look who won the Presidents. It was the Bruins. The Penguins are right up there as well. But as far as the Blue Jackets are concerned, you lose those players, and it's a tall task to go ahead and try to make it to the playoffs. Even with Sergei Bobrovsky, who we're going to be losing this year as well. Could be scary times in the future for the Blue Jackets. Let's hope we can make the most of it this year while we still have a chance in this playoff run right now. As for this video, though, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.